wasn't going to be able to say these words. Tikaka Museum of Waitangi and Te Papa. We work closely with photographers and artists to bring their ideas and images to life. Be sure to go and see Corey at the trade show to find out more about Southern Alps imagery and Chromolux. And sorry to all the New Zealanders, I'm from Australia. I have never heard those words spoken before, so I hope I didn't murder them. All right, so we've got our judges here with us today. I'm Belinda Richards and my panel chair assistant is Carolina Stuss. And we've got Angela Eastwood, Craig Turner-Bullock, Emma Steele, Kay Davis, Kelly Brown, Mark Rosetto, Sarah Lee Cobb and Tracy Scott joining us to judge the imagery today. We've got a pretty short and sharp category today. So we're just going to kick it off by running through the images to see what wonderful work we're going to be witnessing today. I'm sure we can all agree we're in for a bit of a treat today. Anybody got, no? We're all good? We're good to go. Excellent. Well, what I will do is get our panel together. We will start with Chris Anderson, Mark Rosetto, Tracy Scott, Kay Davis and Emma Steele. All right, Chris, take a seat. We're actually just going to swap Chris out because he thinks he knows one of the images, and we might get Craig in, please. All right, are we all ready to go? Logged in? Excellent. Can I have the first print, please? Just while we're waiting for our judges to take a look at this print and enter their scores, I'm just going to read out the category description for everyone. The illustrative category is for photographs that communicate concepts, stories and ideas which provide narrative and provoke the viewer in a thought process. All forms of post-production are allowed in this category as long as they fit within the global rules. And we have a score of 83. And Craig would like to challenge this one. The final score is 83, silver award.
All right, so I've put this at 88, silver with distinction. There's a real delicate tranquility to this, and I see that in the shapes of the faces. I'm sorry, I see faces and animals in everything, and I see faces here. I see a figure with a large belly there. I see a shark coming up. There's so much to look at and enjoy in this that I think that this has been very cleverly seen. We see a lot of aerial images, but I don't think we see a lot of aerial images that are this successful.
Thank you, Craig. I'd like to hear from Mark. You're at the lower end in the bronze range.
Yeah, so I gave this one a bronze. In terms of probably what I'd like to... The longer you sit with it, the more it sits with you, which is really good. You discover more. The photographer's definitely seen lots of depth between all the different colour tones and all the different styles. I probably underscored this a little bit and willing to hear more.
Thank you, Mark. Kay, you were in support of the print.
Yeah, I scored at 87, and I could even be pushed up a little bit higher. Such a beautiful colour palette we're being presented with. Through the middle section, we're seeing a frenzy of fish jumping out of this. I see the tails of fish, I see a shark jumping out. And to me, it's bringing this two-dimensional print into a three-dimension. So it's creating added depth and meaning to the image. And I think this has just been so beautifully seen and captured. There's a depth, there's a flow. The dimension has just been incredibly well crafted and seen.
Thank you, Kay. Has anyone got anything to add? Tracy?
I scored this 84. The more times I've gone up and looked at it, I've really loved the... I did see the beautiful big fin of tail coming out and things, but I love all those tiny little sharp, pin-sharp detailing in this soft liquid movement. So, yeah, I'm listening and I'm willing to come up.
Thank you, Tracy. And back to you, Craig.
Yeah, it sounds like I've got a bit of support here. Look, I think this is not only masterfully captured, but I think it takes an absolute master at their craft to be able to see this in a very busy landscape when you're overhead to capture it. I think that this main character of this large face filling the frame here is the guardian of this wilderness, and all of his fishy friends are helping him take care of it all. So I think this elevates it absolutely into the distinction range.
Thank you, Craig. Judges, please rescore. And we now have a score of 87, silver with distinction. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a silver award at 83, and Craig would like... Oh, no, sorry, Tracy, would you like to challenge? Sorry?
Yeah, I would. I've given this a silver distinction at 86. I love the story. I love the reference to Japanese porcelain when it's broken and it's put back together with gold. This is a young boy coming into adulthood and he has all those traumas, that he has to work through. And he's discovered that, you know, he is whole and he loves himself even with all his broken bits. Yeah, it's a beautiful, moving image of teenage trauma.
Thank you, Tracy. We have Mark at the lower end there.
The reference of the Chinese gold, I think, is really brilliant. Just if you can tell me what he's holding in his hand, I know it looks like a heart, but the other part of what it is I don't know what that part is. I've seen the reference to this multiple times. I actually think that it could have been handled, the actual main capture could have been handled a little bit better. But the story behind it and the gold and the other four images in the background, I think they're captured beautifully. It's just a little bit stark at the front, but if you can just tell me a little bit more about that, that'd be awesome.
Okay, Craig, you're in support of the print?
I am. I scored this 85. Tracy, I get that whole meaning as well. Thank you for bringing up the art of kintsugi. To expand on that a little bit more, not only in this this practice of bringing things together with gold, do they believe that it makes it more special and unique, but it also makes it stronger and better than it was before. And I think, Mark, you're right. I think that the main capture could have been better. That is why I haven't taken my score higher into the golds. But I think if you look at those broken pieces, they are captured so beautifully. You can feel the anguish and the pain. And then the expression on that central character is so peaceful. They have mended and become better. And that's why I put this into the silver distinction range.
Did anybody have anything to add? Kay, did you have something?
Yeah, I'm coming up to silver distinction too. I did score it in the silver initially. I felt it was maybe it was a little bit too obvious. But for me, the strength also is in that central figure who shows that contentness and that comfortableness in his own skin after all the trauma and torment that he's actually been through as a youth. So I think this is incredible. I'm going to cry too. I think this is an incredibly powerful image that has been beautifully presented to us.
Thank you, Kay. Back to you, Tracy.
Yeah, I think the icing on the cake for me was that contented smile on his face, and he's now in the light. The darkness is gone and he can be secure in his own self.
All right, judges, please rescore. And we now have a silver distinction at 86. Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a bronze award at 78. And Kay would like to challenge that.
I'd like to just push this into silver. I scored at 83. The story I'm getting from, and this is an illustrative category, excuse me, the story I'm getting from this is the fact that this trunk has been in this car for so long. It's just grown through this vehicle that's been abandoned. So we're talking about nature overtaking what humans have actually placed on the earth and just left and discarded. The openness coming through the right-hand side is allowing that tree to grow. So it's given that tree space to grow. There is a little bit, I feel, of the technical qualities that have let it down, which is why I've kept it into the silver, in the silver range. But I think there's a very powerful story that's actually been presented to us in quite a confronting manner.
Thank you, Kay. Emma, I'd like to hear from you, please.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kay. I kind of wasn't missing the story, but I wasn't feeling pulled by it as you were, so it's good to hear that. I've put it in mid-bronze range. But yeah, I'm listening, and I'm going to come up. I'd like to hear a little bit more. It was probably the technical and that was keeping me in bronze, but I'm listening.
Okay, Tracy, you've got something to add?
I scored the 78. I did see the story of the tree growing through in the becoming part of the car. I was just let down technically, and the brightness of the big brown, whatever it is at the front right, I just found it kind of overpowering, and my eye kept going from the tree to that and the tree to that, and I was a bit lost.
Craig, do you have something to add?
Yeah, just really quickly, I guess in support of this, moving up. Tracy, I found that really distracting to begin with, and then I look at the whole image and I found it quite confronting. It's overlit, it's really flat, like you can see everything, and then I guess that was the point, like it's confronting me with decay, and that's why I liked it. I did score it 77, but I'll come up.
Okay, thank you. Back to Kay.
Yeah, the image is confronting, and I think to me, the brightness of that element in the foreground, it is balanced beautifully with the gap in the door and the lightness coming through the front, what do you call it, the front of the window of the vehicle. But what's actually also clinched it for me is actually that the tree and the truck, or the remnants of this vehicle, the colour palette is actually the same. So the tones in the tree, so you can see that sense of nature echoed in what is now the decaying object. So I think the photographer has presented us with something that is, I guess often we look at it and say, oh, it's just an abandoned vehicle. But I think there's definitely, they have presented this to us in a confronting way that is really can make us think. I'd like to see silver.
Thank you, Kay. Judges, please rescore. Kay, you need to re-enter your score. And we have a silver award at 80. Congratulations. Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a bronze award at 77. Congratulations. Can I hear from Mark?
Yeah, this is a great piece with the 4 images. How it's like a dancing leaf, and at the start I thought the bottom right-hand corner image kind of let it down a little bit, but then I find that the bottom right is almost like a trampoline that pushes you to the rest of them, and you just go around and around in circles. So I enjoyed the image.
Thank you, Mark. Can we have the next image, please? The next print, please. And we have an initial score of 86 with an automatic challenge from Craig. Yep,
10 points
you're
for
on
that, but it's
92.
gold, yeah, so I'm on 92. There is so much narrative in here. This is not a child. This is a monster that has kept herself young by eating people. And sometimes babies. And it has been put together with absolute mastery. The light is flawless. Every skull detail, the light and shadow are falling in the right places, in the right directions. And then you just have that little butterfly on that skull that she's holding that just speaks to new life. And that's the freshly sucked dry skull that she's holding, and she's keeping herself young, and that butterfly is giving her that new life. So I'm up in gold. I think there's a huge amount to talk about in this image, and let's do that.
Okay, Kay, you are at the lower end in silver. Can we hear from you?
Thank you for your comments, Craig. I'm not seeing that story. I guess I'm not feeling what you're feeling with that story. And for me, the expression of the child is not emulating that sense of monster or feeling of ghoulishness, or I know you're going to say, oh, it's all about innocence, but I feel the expression is a little bit blank, and it's not giving me anything to actually pick up on that story. I do find there's a few, and this is just a minor technical, there are a few, just about 3 or 4 skulls which the specular highlights on them just don't seem to be consistent with all of the other skulls in the room, and yet the lighting should be consistent. And I guess I'm also not understanding fully the use of the monochromatic and then the splash of colour. So if you can answer some questions, I will bring my score up.
Thank you, Kay. How about Tracy? Have you got something to add there?
I scored this a high silver. Well, yeah, just out of the silver distinction. I didn't get the story either, Craig. That was my problem. I was looking at the clock. I was looking at the butterfly. Beautiful lighting. This is crafted beautifully. But I couldn't quite get the story. So thank you for that.
And Mark, you just wanted to add something?
Yeah, just the all those different points. I'm still trying to figure out the story. I scored it a silver with distinction. I really enjoyed the baby skeleton on the right hand side at the same eye height that the photographer could have got all, that they've gone out of their way to get different ages of different skeletons. I thought was really quite creative. With that stare, I kind of like the stare. It's just weird. It's just awkwardly, like, it's not giving us really anything. It's almost like you've just interrupted them with their name and they just looked at you and they're like, what? It's like as if it's normal. Like, who doesn't sit there and just play with skeleton heads?
Thanks for that, Mark. And back to you, Craig.
Okay, I want to address a couple of things. So for me, the clock is a message, a clear message that this is a passage of a long period of time and that this is not the youthful person that they appear to be. The expression, you have to remember again that this is not a child. This is an old person in the disguise of a young body. If you think of any of the best horror or thrillers out there, the evil is never the one that you expected. This person has this childlike face of innocence, and below the surface they are anything but that. Kay, I don't see any issues with specular highlights in the direction of light anywhere. Yeah, I think this is absolutely needs to come up into the gold scoring range.
Thank you, Craig. And can we have judges to rescore, please? And we have moved up a point to 87, silver distinction. Good discussion, guys. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 84. Yep, Craig, you'd like to challenge?
Me again.
Go ahead.
88. The graphic quality of this is really, really striking, and my immediate thought is that it looks like some kind of circuit board. And then I'm creating a narrative of how this kind of circuit connects us all and connects the planet. And then you've got these bits that are broken and fading away, and there's a short circuit on the left-hand side there where the blue parts are. And, I think that's an appropriate narrative for the times that we're living in. So I've put this in silver distinction, and I'd love to see it come up a few points.
Wonderful. Emma, I'd love to hear from you. You're at the lower end of silver.
Yeah, I gave this a silver. I really appreciated the print quality is beautiful, and visually it's stunning and well handled. I wasn't getting the story, so again, Craig, well done for the story. That's given me some insight, and yeah, it is beautifully handled, so that's why I awarded silver, but I'm listening.
Tracy, you're in support of the print.
I gave this an 88. The feeling I got from it was, our polar region is melting. We have this tiny bit of clear blue left, but the earth is bleeding. It just gives me that feeling that it's suffering, and it's taking over. The fresh, blue, clean Arctic is dying, and yeah, there's this bleeding earth underneath.
Thanks for that, Tracy. Anybody have anything to add? Back to you, Craig.
Tracy, you took my closing argument, so I will leave it there. That's the other clear narrative for me as well. So we can see at least 2 narratives to this. Bring it into distinction range.
And we have a silver distinction at 87. Congratulations. I'm sure the photographer's very happy. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 76. Bronze award. Oh, Mark, you'd like to challenge? Take it away.
So, with the image, it's the clear story of the car's been there for years, the trees growing out. The reason why I really are warm to this image is because of the warmth of it. The autumn leaves in the back is showing that it goes through the seasons, and the seasons will come and go, and people and the earth kind of changes, and it doesn't matter if there's a fire or not, and that car's been destroyed, is that the trees will conquer after all, and the autumn leaves behind of the trees just bring that warmth into something that is so cold and so hurtful and such a time of destruction that there's always the growth at the end of it. That's why I awarded it 83, and I'd like to come up to silver.
Thanks for that, Mark. I'd actually like to hear from Craig, please. You're at the lower end of bronze. Oh, professional practice, sorry.
I'm on 72 on this one, and I think it's a really competent capture. I just felt like it was a missed opportunity to really show the juxtaposition between the decay and the life of the tree, or bring something else except for a good composition and beautiful tonal range. Yeah.
Thank you, Craig. Tracy, you've got something to add?
I was with you, Craig. I gave this 74. My eye, one of the things that bugged me was that pink tone in the grass, and it didn't feel, it felt like a colour cast more than an actual real colour. And on top of that, my eye was jumping from the gold tree to the bright door back to the gold. I was kind of being lost in there. It was a little busy, and that pink cast was really bothering me.
Okay, thank you for that. Back to you, Mark.
I don't mind the pink. The pink is just a part of the tone. It's the tone. It keeps it all within that range. It all keeps it in that space. I don't mind the jumping around from looking at the car door to the back of it brings you back from new to old to new to old to new to old, just continuously bounces around. And that story is why I gave it the award. And just the composition, I think it's well seen. Like that, the photographer could have been a step further to the left or the right, whichever way, but they chose to stand right there. It's got all the elements of the car that bring it up, and it's in the perfect shape for the tree in the background to highlight that, you know, what is destroyed will come new again.
Thank you, Mark. Judges, please rescore. And we've moved up a point to 77, Bronze Award. Thank you for that. Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a silver award at 82, and Kay would like to challenge this one. Take it away.
What a beautiful, subtle representation of the earth. It's like a bas relief. It's like an etching into the earth. What I'm reading from the image is the musical score, the musical notes that are coming through, resonating. You've got the subtle paleness on the outside. You've got the music intensifying as you're coming into the middle, and then you've got the crescendo right in the centre, and that's all balanced by the various elements, number of elements within each of those frames. It's been beautifully printed, beautifully controlled tonal wise, and I've scored it in solid silver with distinction.
Okay, come back to you, Craig, though. I just want to hear from Tracy, please. You're at the lower end in bronze.
I gave this a 76. I really enjoyed the dark centre, the medium to either side, and the very light. You know, I thought that was very well laid out and handled. Sometimes for me less is more, and I'm not sure that I got a lot more from the whole set than, but I will listen, and I do like your way of looking at it, so yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, Craig, you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah. So I'm at 86. For me, this is the expansion and enrichment of a community or a family, with the peak the most clear in the middle, and then you lose people and they fade away, and in the end you're just on your own. And that's what I read into this.
Has anyone got anything to add? Yep. Back to you, Kay.
Thank you, Craig, for your analogy of that too, because I think that's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, it's life. It's life whether you're looking at it in terms of nature, in its life in terms of as we're looking at it as human beings. So whatever way you want to interpret that, it's been incredibly well crafted because it has and well considered and thought out by the photographer. He, she, they have brought a lot of subtle, and I'm saying very, very subtle meaning to what is something very, very simple.
All right. Kay's looking for a silver distinction. Please rescore, judges. And we have it at 85, silver distinction. Can I have a blank screen, please? I'm just going to do a quick judge swap. We've got a short category today, so I want to make sure everyone gets a chance. Mark, can you take a break? Emma, you take a break, and Kay, take a break. And I'd like to invite Sarah Lee, Chris, and Angela back onto the panel. All right, can I have the next print, please? Just while the judges are inspecting this print and coming to their decisions, I'd like to remind everyone of the Ian Poole Memorial Award. This award is in memory of Ian Poole for our top judge this year, as voted for by the audience. And you can vote at the NZIPP table in the foyer. So if you've been watching and you want to award a judge for their good work, feel free to go and pop a vote in for them. All right, we have an initial score of 92 and an automatic challenge from Tracy, who's sitting on 95.
Come on, guys, this is amazing. Like, who would have thought of turning E.T. into an Egyptian something? Aliens taking over the planet. Mankind is dead. He's holding the last skull. The world is... This is a whole new world. The lighting, the detailing and everything. Earth is down the bottom there on the right, but it's gone. The beautiful little spaceships, the planets. The construction of this blew me away. The colour palette, everything. I'm not sure why. Yeah, for me, this is a gold distinction all day long.
Thanks for that, Tracy. Chris, you're in the silver distinction range.
The low score of 87. This is okay. You are shocked. This is an incredible image. I love the subtle hint of the gold tones to encourage us to go into gold. That's really good. I read the story a little bit differently, I think a more positive way than you did. I took this as someone like a visitor from another planet who is coming to Earth for the first time with this like they have a skull from one of our long ancestors and they're about to make contact with us. And I really love, like there's I'm going to come up to gold, but I've got some reservations, and I'll tell you what they are. But first, I love all the text and all the tattoos and the texture on the skin and everything. But the kicker for me was the belt, where it has like little stick figures of humans, and like a child would draw. So that to me makes the alien feel like they're coming to. They're not our enemy. They're here to celebrate us. So I love that. There's two things that will keep me out of gold distinction. One is there are repeated elements. The two planets either side of the figure's head, there's a really distinct texture in the planet, and it's just a clown. And that bothers me, because I don't want to see behind the curtain. I don't want to see the wizard at work. I want to see a finished piece. The other thing that I'm kind of struggling with, and maybe there's an explanation that you can help me with, is there are some patterns of stars towards the right of the image that look like Orion, and they're not stars, they're big globs, so they have a heavier presence than I want to see compared to a star that is a point of light with a glow around it. So my brain goes, oh, that's Orion's belt, but it's not, because it's different. I'm going to be gold, and I'm going to be on the verge of gold distinction, but if you can explain those to me, then I have no trouble going higher.
Okay. Anyone dying to go next? No? Yeah, Angela?
I scored this a 92. I just really enjoyed the reference to the whole conspiracy theory that the aliens created the pyramids. There's lots of hieroglyphics kind of references in there, little stick figure humans that kind of make me think of a lot of the cave drawings, inferring that they've been here since the dawn of man. I think the stars, Chris, for me, is kind of a navigational reference, and that's how they navigate the universe, and the multiple planets is that maybe that we're not the only ones that they've been in touch with and had their finger in all the pies around the universe, and maybe this being and these creatures are the creators. Maybe they are the centre of the universe who have created everyone. I love that little story, and I'm easily convinced to come up with you.
And Craig, you've got something to add?
I agree with everything you said, Angela. This is playing to all sorts of conspiracy theories. I scored at 93. I will come up, and I will come up because, Chris, you pointed out that the planet is a clone. And that is why I'm coming up, because these aliens touch everything, as Angela said, and there are, if you believe these things, multiple versions of many planets and universes. So that spotting, an eagle eye, has put me into the distinction range. Thank you.
Well done, Craig. Anybody have anything to add? We'll go back to you, Tracy.
I think we can all see what a magnificent image this is, and we've discussed it, and I think we can see all those wonderful things. I think we're all on the same page here, so same dimension, so let's bring it home.
All right, thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a gold distinction at 96. Congratulations to the photographer. May I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a majority score of 80, silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Sarah Lee, can you provide some commentary?
This is a beautiful image. When I look at it, I see the Earth sort of an aerial shot, what I assume is, taken and then processed to look as though it's cells or cancer or part of the human form or something organic under a microscope, which is really, really impactful. The colour palette is a wee bit too muddy. I think I love the monotone look, but perhaps if even a third colour was introduced, it would have given us a little bit more interest to keep us looking at that image a little bit longer.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. Next print, please. And we have a score of 82. And Tracy, you'd like to challenge that? Go
I
ahead.
gave this an 87. I see it as the story of life. Life is ever changing. Butterflies represent the changes. And life is fleeting, and we all transition through life, and then everything must die. Everything must disintegrate and go back to the beginning, and then transition back through to all the beauty again. So it's a story of the cycle of life for me, and I found it very beautifully handled and beautifully printed, and I thought it was worthy of a distinction.
Thank you, Tracy. Angela, you were in the low silver there.
Yeah, I really, really love this image. It's very, very beautifully printed. I love the tonality of it, and I can absolutely get that narrative with the life and the death and the decay. And the only thing that really bothered me, that stopped me moving into this distinction, was the fact that the ash falling didn't settle anywhere on her dress. It kind of just overlays it, which really upsets the illusion of that. So for me, it would be spreading across her dress. So that just really minor, small detail really just disturbed that illusion for me. So I still really love it, and I absolutely think it deserves a silver, though.
Excellent. Chris, you'd like to add something?
Yep, I'm in low silver as well. Tracy, love it for the reasons you do. Angela, agree about the dust settling. That and the elements that are kind of around and floating. There's several butterflies where it's like one wing is really crisp and one wing is completely blurred, and I don't understand why. And so I spend time lingering there, where I really want to spend time lingering on the subject and the story. I think having her face the left is from a time passing. She's looking back towards the past. It's beautiful. There's so much to love. It's just those other elements that kind of break the illusion that are keeping me out of silver distinction so far.
Thank you, Chris. And back to you, Tracy.
Thank you for those points. The ash falling down and not settling on the dress, for me, is symbolic of when things decay, they just go and it's drifting down and becoming nothing. It disappears completely. It doesn't settle on us. It just dissipates into nothingness. And I think the butterflies being sharp and being soft is completely in keeping with the whole image being very sharp in places and very soft. It's the whole, and it gives that sense of a little bit of more movement.
Thank you, Tracy. Judges, please rescore. And we've moved up a point, 83, silver award. Can I have a blank screen for a moment, please? I'd just like to ask Tracy and Craig to take a break, and we would love to invite Kelly onto the panel. And Kay, do you want to join us? Thank you. Can I have the next print, please? Okay, we have a score of 85, silver distinction. Seems like everyone's very consistent with their scoring there. Can I have a comment from Kelly, please?
Absolutely. Wow, what a striking image. We're faced with so much beautiful texture and then all of these beautiful shapes that have been placed strategically to frame this subject. I love the awkwardness of his pose. I love the fact that we can't see his arms. I actually was really, really wanting to hit that 9 something something button on my keypad, but what held me back was just a little bit of inconsistency with some of the shadows there. But yeah, really great concept and well done.
Thank you, Kelly. Next print, please. While our judges are inspecting this print, I'd just like to remind that our major sponsor, Sony, have a wonderful competition running across this event. You've got to find the QR code around the venue and scan the code to complete an online quiz, and all the correct entries will go into the draw to win a $500 Sony store voucher. If you want to know more, you can see the signs around the venue, and you can also stop by the Sony trade stand from Friday to see more from the team at Sony. We have an initial score of 83 with an automatic challenge from Sarah Lee, who's sitting on 92.
Right, so I scored this into gold. To me, I see sacrifice, festivals, life, death, this huge celebration of colour, and perhaps ethnicity and culture in there as well. I think it's such a riot of texture. There's a huge amount to look at within this particular image. The way all the heads go clockwise through it as well. There is lots of yeah, hang on, where am I going with this? I think it's worthy of a gold. I think there's a really strong concept in there, that whether you picked that up initially or whether I'm just sort of going out on a limb here, but I'd love to hear why others aren't in gold.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. Kay, you were in the high bronze range.
Yeah. I scored it bronze for the fact that I didn't quite get a story from it. I mean, I understand the whole potentially beauty and death and all that sort of thing. I'm not 100% sure beyond that. I found some inconsistencies within the flowers look placed on there as opposed to actually fitting into the scene. They look more cut out and as opposed to actually melding within the scene. And the two white flowers are, to me, just that little bit distracting. And there's a massive repetition of the different flowers as opposed to, again, creating randomness where you're not getting that repetition, because there is, other than that, there is no repetition within the image. I'm listening, but I am struggling to find a story.
Thanks for that, Kay. Kelly, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm on 82, and I just want to say well done for the photographer for seeing something, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that the photographer didn't place all of these sheep and those flowers. This is part of some form of celebration. And I believe that the scattering of the flowers there, the messiness, the untidiness of it, matches the messiness and the untidiness of the way that those sheep have been put together. I felt so much sadness when I first saw this. I really did. But then I saw a beautiful, use of colour throughout the scattering of those flowers, and I think that it sits quite well within that silver scoring range in terms of a photographer seeing something within a scene and having a really great eye for that.
Okay, anybody have anything to add? No? Sarah Lee, back to you.
Thank you for highlighting those things, ladies. I think if there was a little bit more depth in the shadows, and obviously not the repetitions, there would have been a lot more drama and continuity to this image. I do think the choice of the circular mat isn't just representing the roundness of the flowers and the rotation of the heads, but I also think harks to mandalas and all of those connotations as well. So please score again, and here's hoping for a few more points.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. Oh, hold on. I've got to do my job first. There we go. And we now have a silver distinction at 85. Can I have a blank screen, please? I'm just going to do a quick judge change. Chris, can I ask you to take a break, please? And I would like to ask Emma, would you like to join us again? Can I have the next print, please? Okay, we have an initial score of 79, and we've got two people. Kelly, would you like to take that challenge?
I will. I think that
you.
this should get a silver. We're right on 79, guys. Look at the beautiful shapes here, the texture. I'm not asking for a gold, I'm asking for a couple of extra points to bring this up into that silver range, because this has a high level of imagination and creativity. It's got a very high level of craft, skill and technique that's been used to capture this and present us with something that is a little different. It is a little unique. I love that little guy in that top left corner, and my eye just wanders throughout this frame. There's a really beautiful, rich tonality throughout, you know, the leaf. Would have loved to have seen a little bit more texture. However, the hero of that shot's got lots of texture. And the way that he's just kind of, well, he, she, whatever, lizard, gecko, whatever you want to call it, is looking down into the center of this frame, taking you on a bit of a journey. This is its life. This is its playground. Let's give it a couple of extra points.
Thank you, Kelly. Can I hear from Kay?
Yeah, I thought that was an absolutely delightful image. I think for me, what I couldn't resolve in my own mind was the incongruity between the shallow depth of field, the softness of the leaf, and the very, very beautiful sharp lizard. And that's why I kept it, well, I've got it in a high bronze. Something else that I saw initially when I first saw the image was I felt that the little lizard was like little jewels sitting on the top of the leaf. But talk to me, Kelly. I'm listening.
Does anybody have anything to add? No? Kelly, back to you.
All right, those jewels sitting on top of this roller coaster, you can just see, like, if no one was looking at this little guy would be having a ball, like just using this leaf to its full advantage. I don't mind the depth of field throughout this. I'm just really enjoying the shapes here and the beautiful tonality throughout the print, and feel that it sits very well within that silver scoring range, and it's just a couple of extra points.
All right, judges, please rescore. And we have a silver award on 81. Congratulations to the photographer. Can I have the next print, please? Okay, we have an initial score of 81. And Angela, do you want to take this challenge? Sure.
Where do I start? To me, this is, it speaks to me of life, Earth's blood, the water, and being poisoned, and just that rawness of that red, really enforcing that the beautiful clean blue water coming out, and the earth is bleeding from what we're doing to it. That's what really drew me to this image, and I'd love to see it just come up into the next range.
Okay. Kelly, you're in the bronze range.
Yeah, I scored this a 78. You know, I'm really enjoying the colours throughout this. There's just some inconsistencies with texture here. I feel that the top left corner there for me is just a little muddy. And then my eye is continual, as I'm sort of, you know, circling around throughout this beautiful landscape, I'm continually led to the bottom of the frame with that strong leading line. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more balance, perhaps, a little bit more control in some of those textures, but I'm listening and prepared to come up a couple of points if I can be persuaded.
Excellent. Kay, you were in support of this print.
Yeah, I scored this in the silver distinction. For me, whether I'm standing up close or back here, I'm seeing this broken bone. I'm seeing this blood coming out of the bone. And then I'm being brought down, just addressing the line that you feel drags you out of the image. I'm being forced down there through, which is essentially the blue blood. But then all of that water is being washed up and back around and just almost like it's cleansing that break. So I'm sort of getting more, and I don't mind the textures, and I think in reality, the earth is full of texture. Whether it's subtle, whether it's smooth, we've got movement, we've got staticness, we've got the strokes like on a bone. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm getting at. So I have just pushed it into the silver distinction range.
Thanks for that, Kay. Angela, you've got a bit of support there.
Thanks, Kay, for pointing that out. I love how you've seen that, and I see it instantly as well with that bone. Yeah, just a few points to come up to the next level.
Judges, please rescore. And we have an 83 silver award. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a silver distinction at 85. And can I have a comment, Kelly? Thanks.
Yeah, this is definitely unique. I don't think I've seen anything quite like this before. I was really enjoying the beautiful shapes within that floral sort of design that's behind her, and I like the wispiness of her hair coming across the face. It adds a little bit of mystery to it. I was a little confused with those triangular shapes, that pattern that is purposefully put throughout the print, and there's just one little light area in front of the thigh at the bottom of the frame that just continually draws me down. Had that have been handled a little differently, I would have gone a lot higher for this print.
Thank you, Kelly. Great insight. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 84. Silver award. Thank you, judges. Can I have a comment from Emma?
This is a great image. I mean, what fun. I mean, what an amazing dad. That's the dad everyone wants with his little girls. It's beautifully handled. The lighting's lovely. The shape and the presentation is great. And just everything. You can look at each of those characters and just read it, and the dad's face is priceless. Loving the lipstick. Well done.
Thanks for that, Emma. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a silver distinction at 85. Kelly, you want to say something?
I do. What fun. Oh my goodness, I think we all really enjoyed this Corilla DeVille kind of theme going on here. Had there been a little bit more detail in those blacks, I think we all would have been in gold.
Thank you, Kelly. Can I have the next print, please? Scores, please, judges. And we have a an initial score of 91, Gold Award. And Kelly would like to challenge that one because she's sitting on 97. Do you want to do it?
95. Yeah. Am I in the highest?
No, Kelly's higher.
We're just fighting over who's going to challenge this. Where do I start? I feel like I'm looking at a movie, a still from a movie scene. There's so much juice in here. Literally, blood. But I just love how the human element's been, the only human element in here is literally the heart, because this is our future. When we talk about technology and we talk about the way that it's moving and changing the world that we live in, the one thing that it doesn't have is heart. Let me just read to you the description of what a gold with distinction is. Exceptional vision, creativity and innovation, exceptional visual communication and interpretation of subject, high level of originality, thought, concept, and mastery in all areas. I can't fault this. I literally cannot fault this. The balance, the color harmony throughout this, the beautiful framing, the delicate placement of all of those hanging objects from the ceiling. There's so much to, we don't have long to assess these images. I want to look at this for an hour more. And I'm sure I'll continue to find beautiful little pieces throughout this entire print. But there's a story that is so relevant in today's world, and I would love for my fellow judges, my teammates, to join me in that GD range, a high GD range.
Thank you, Kelly. Can I hear from Sarah Lee, please?
So I scored this initially at 88, and I will be coming up. I definitely see the movie scene still, but I would love to know how that cyborg is integrating that heart into itself. Or is it taking it out? Is it putting it in? I feel like with a complete chest, it's like it's in action, but there's no next step for us to assume in the storyline. And then that computer on the left-hand side with the wonderful heart arrows and all that sort of stuff, there's just a really bright highlight that I feel's not quite matching the same lighting. And with the composition, that hand with the soldering iron is dead centre. And there's a lot of detail down the bottom. There's not as much up the top, and I feel like just lifting the view or the crop up a little bit would bring more the attention onto the figure and not all that busyness down the bottom. So those are just my hesitations, but I'm listening and I will be coming up to gold.
Okay. Emma, have you got something to add? No? How about you, Angela?
I definitely see that whole AI narrative there, and I love this image. It's the thing that keeps dragging my eye away from this is there's a soldering iron hanging down that's so sharp and quite bright, and I can see it from here, and I keep looking, and the legs hanging down in that top right-hand corner as well. Easily convinced to come up to gold, but yeah, those are the things that just would stop me from going any higher than that. Love it though, it's great.
Excellent. Thank you, Angela. And Kay, you are also in support of a gold distinction.
Yeah, I'm sitting in gold distinction. I'm actually going to come up even further. Not that I can go beyond gold distinction, but I'm going to lift my score further. Kelly, you said it beautifully, and I'm not sure I can articulate it any further. But for me, in terms of answering Angela, you know, it's a soldering iron coming down from the top right. Well, that's what I read it as. So it's a soldering iron that's being used to actually piece all of these pieces together to create non-human form. The computer to me is showing the heartbeats, and so the fact that you're not seeing the heart in the body or being placed or taken out of the body is because they're experimenting around trying to get the heart beating without human form, outside of its human form. So the graph on the computer is all about the heart, and it's all about the heartbeat. Every single element in this image has a purpose. There's not one piece in this image that doesn't fit. And as Kelly's alluded to, the colour palette has just so been beautifully handled. It's just, I'm definitely coming up into high gold distinction.
Thank you, Kay. Kelly, just before you start talking, just don't lean so close to the microphone. We're
Am I
getting
loud?
complaints. Yeah. I know you are.
Is that all right? I am excited, and I am loud. I don't mind, and I'm going to be loud for this print. That soldering iron, it wouldn't work without it. Do you want to know why? Because that dumb expression on her face shows that they want to try and use a stupid soldering iron to put a heart in a robot. Like, that's how dumb they are. Like, the future of our world will not exist without human heart. And that's what I love about this. We cannot go on. We cannot live in a universe without heart. And they're so stupid, they're trying to figure it out and they can't. There's actually such a strong emotional element to this that I haven't even touched on. But this is life. They can't work without us. This print can't score a higher gold distinction score without you. Let's use our heart and give this what it deserves.
Thank you, Kelly. Judges, please rescore. And we have a gold distinction at 96. Excellent teamwork, guys. Can I have a blank screen, please? And I'm just going to do a quick judge change around again. Can I have Angela step down, please, take a break, and Emma take a break, and we'll bring back Mark and Tracy. All right. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. Pretty even scoring across the board there. We have a bronze award at 76. And can I have a comment from Kay, please?
A really interesting image that the photographers presented to us, and well done for them, I guess, to making us think about what they're actually trying to interpret. But I think for me, there's a little slight lack of clarity in terms of what the meaning is. I'm sort of maybe possibly looking at technology as taking over absolutely everything, even nature, but perhaps a little bit more symbolism to provide us with a little bit more interpretation.
Thank you, Kay. Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 87, and Tracy, you're on 91, so take it away.
I've just snuck this into the gold. It's a very, very beautifully crafted image. When I looked at all those for a start, the composition is stunning. The tonality is sublime. Her foot is she's not quite touching the ground, she's flying, she doesn't have arms, she has this cape which she's flying through the landscape with, and in the background just behind her are these tiny, tiny little details of flying birds that are mirroring her in that landscape behind her cape. And it's those tiny details, and her eyes are closed and she's floating. She's flying, she's ethereal. It's those little links together that I thought was so well thought out and so beautifully presented. I'm not asking for a high gold, but I think, for me it was worthy of a gold.
Thank you, Tracy. Kelly, you've got something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I agree with all of those comments that you've mentioned. But for me, from a technical aspect, what I'm really struggling with is those shadows from the foot coming off in the left direction, but yet the circular shape in behind her has really strong shadows going off into the right. So we've just got some inconsistencies there with that depth that's being provided to us, because the image is lighter on that left-hand side than it is on the right side, but yet the shadows don't tell that to me. So I'm just feeling like that could have been handled a little better for me to take it up even higher, but I am appreciating the beautiful tonality and the beautiful design of this.
Thank you, Kelly. Kay, you were close to gold there.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I've got really anything to add, to be honest. I'm really enjoying just the serene expression. There's a it's almost a non-expression, but the fact, the fact that you can't see her arms, that the cape, the beautiful fabric provides us with wings that she's flying, as Tracy alluded to with the birds in the background. I'm loving the tonal control within it, but I've scored it solid 88, silver distinction. I feel that's where it possibly sits.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Tracy.
Just to address the incongruity of that shadow, when you look at her cape, it's arched and it's light and it's off to the right. The shadow mirrors it, it's arched and it's dark and it's off to the left. It balances it beautifully. This is not reality, this is composition.
Thank you, Tracy. Judges, please rescore. And we've gone up a point to 88, a silver distinction. Can I have the next print, please? While the judges are having a look at this print, we'll just remind the audience that this afternoon we have a print auction starting at 3:30 p.m. Down at 25, just around the corner here. We've got one of our judges that is looking at the print at the moment, Mark Rosetto. He will be our auctioneer for the afternoon. So come down and get yourself a beautiful print to pop on your wall. Okay, judges, we have a score of 89, but we do have a challenge, and it'll actually be Kelly taking the challenge. She's sitting on 93.
I'm playing snakes and ladders today. Check it out. Did anybody else get the snakes and ladders? All those lines, that beautiful texture and the layers within this. Like, we're judging the illustrative category. I'm continually drawn to that little guy down the bottom there chasing the ant. That's the prize. Like, that's the end of the board game for me. But we start in the center and the circular nature of these gorgeous little lizards that have so much detail. There's so much detail. Come on. I don't know what else to say. It's glorious.
Thank you, Kelly. I'd like to hear from Sarah Lee. You were sitting down the lower silver range.
Yeah, I scored this initially in 82, and I'm definitely listening. I found it really interesting, but part of me, I guess, was looking for a bit more of a storyline than a whole lot of lizards artfully arranged and one lucky one who gets dinner. I do really appreciate the matless presentation and the way those lizards look quite 3D in terms of sitting physically on the print there. I was quite distracted by the texture that's underlaying, I believe it's underlaying the lizards. There's a lot of repetition and just cloning within that. Definitely listening though, so yeah, please tell me more.
All right, Kay, you were in support of a gold?
Yeah, I scored this gold, not for any narrative, but purely because this is an absolutely beautiful, masterly piece of fine art. And I can just imagine this massive on a wall, absolutely massive on a wall, and being an absolutely amazing focal point and talking a point for people that come around. It's just incredible.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything else to add? No? Back to you, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kay. Like, the design nature of this it's art. And we can interpret it however we want, and that's what's so glorious about this. And it does deserve to be printed very, very, very big. But the layers that are within this and the repetitive nature of it is what brings it together. Without the repetitiveness of that beautiful texture in the background, we'd lose depth, and then we'd lose part of the sculptural kind of feel that we've got here in terms of a background, because if we didn't have that, we'd just have a heap of lizards, and I'm not a fan of lizards, but I'm loving these little guys, and yeah, they'd just be sitting there on a page. So that beautiful texture and the repetitive nature of it matches the repetitiveness of the lizard, and that little guy that's about to get his dinner, he's just, he's rolled a 6.
All right, judges. Kelly's looking for a goal. Please rescore. And we have a 92 gold award. Good discussion. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. Very even scoring. We have a silver distinction at 86. And Kelly, would you like to speak to the print?
Oh my goodness, yes. Wow, this is really interesting. There's so many different elements going on here, and I really love that little cat just looking up, and the colours that are in the cat kind of balance the beautiful face painting of our character here. For me to take it a little bit higher, which is what I really wanted to do, would have liked to have seen this printed on a different paper. I feel like the lot of the detail in the darker areas here is just being lost, and it's lost that impact. And you know, he's feeding a fish. I would love to have seen the fish a bit more. So there's a real action to this. There's life, there's movement, but yet the fish is just getting lost in there. So a little bit more control over some of those colour tones and improving the print quality. This definitely could have been in that gold range.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Well, that was the last of our print entries. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and while we get the screen and monitor set up for the next round of digital entries. Well, welcome back, folks. We're almost ready to get into the digital portion. Well, before we do that, I might just swap over some folks on the panel here. Can I get Chris Anderson back and Craig back, and we'll give Mark, do you want to take a break? And Kelly, do you want to take a break as well, please? Sorry. We've got to give other people a turn.
She's been a star today.
All right, we're just waiting for some lights to be switched off. There we go. All right, ready, judges? First image, please. Thank you, judges. We have pretty even scoring. We have a score of 75, Bronze Award. Chris, can I have a comment from you, please?
Yeah, this is a really unusual piece, and I think a lot of interesting choices have been made to give this to us. I think I really struggled to interpret it, and I think when you have so few visual elements, they've got to all be pretty much bang on, and you want to have some messaging coming through. I almost feel like if we'd been presented with that top middle image just on its own, that might have even been a stronger bit of communication. But a bronze is excellent. Well done.
Thank you, Chris. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 76, Bronze Award. Craig, can I have a comment for the photographer, please?
Yeah, congratulations, and I think this is quite a well done piece that tells of this decay. I think to bring it up, that final piece, if you think about how death creates life, you've just got that brownness in the middle, and I would love to see more vibrant colours in there from new growth.
Thank you, Craig. Can I have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. Pretty even scoring across the board there. We have a score of 72. Can I have a comment from Kay, please?
Yeah, really interesting concept the photographer's bringing to us here. I really enjoy the almost Picasso-esque type nature of areas of it. I think what could improve it a little bit is in terms of having some areas that are sharp that we can actually grab our eyes onto. There are areas that are slightly sharper, but they're very, very obscured. So some of those dominant elements being a little bit sharper would help.
Thank you, Kay. Very helpful. Can I have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 74. And can I get a comment from Kay?
Yeah, a lovely still life collection reminiscent of the old masters type imagery. For me, I'm really wanting some more narrative. I'm not picking up a lot of narrative within it other than a collection of objects which are nicely put together.
Thank you, Kay. Next image, please. We have a score of 73. Can I have a comment from Craig, please?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a fun take and a safe version of shark diving. The darkness at the bottom and the bird just really spoilt that illusion.
Thank you, Craig. Next image, please. So just to the folks who are watching at home, there is a number 29 on the print, on the image that you're seeing. Just wanted to let you know that that is not the version that the judges are actually judging, so that's not there. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80, Silver Award. And Chris, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I think this is it's a well-told story about the progression of this this person. And I really appreciate the kind of unguarded hand gesture in 1, 2, and 5. Like it's a really natural thing. I think if it's progressing, if it's telling us a story about something terrible happening in that bottom right-hand corner, that means there's a passage of time. And because she's wearing the same thing each time, it feels like it was caught in one studio session rather than over a longer period of time. Just that changing outfits each time would have helped to drive that story home a lot more powerfully.
Thank you, judges. That is the end of the illustrative category. So just want to thank Southern Alps Imagery once again for sponsoring this category, Sony for being the major sponsor of the Iris Awards this year. Thanks to our judges, who are Angela Eastwood, Craig Turner-Bullock, Emma Steele, Kay Davis, Kelly Brown, Mark Rosetto, Sarah Lee Cobb and Tracy Scott. Thank you to Carolina for being my assistant, and don't forget the auction this afternoon at 3:30. Don't forget the Ian Poole Award. Don't forget to find that QR code with Sony. That's it. Have fun.